Let's talk about the power of planning. And I don't mean just the act of planning, where you have priorities or goals and strategies and tactics. That's all essential to planning. I'm actually talking about the result that comes from good planning. Planning gives you propulsion. It gives you momentum. It gives you direction. Now, I want to borrow something from the engineering world. It's often called the Venturi tube effect or the Bernoulli effect. And it is mathematical in its nature, but its practical application is everywhere in culture and in your daily life. And I'll illustrate that in a moment. But the concept is this. As you narrow your options through planning, you are then able to say yes to some things and no to others. If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So in planning, as you narrow the options of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and why you're going to do it, you are then in effect saying no to other things. So let me illustrate it this way. If you were to narrow yourself down on a watermelon seed and squeeze it, what would happen? Pew! It would shoot off, right? You're giving it propulsion, you're giving it direction and momentum. Likewise, in planning, when you narrow the options, you are speeding up the process. So in the Venturi effect, you go from a chaotic state where there's lots of opinions, lots of different directions that could happen, kind of like a jet engine, right? At the beginning, it's very chaotic until those air streams are sucked through the engine. So things like flight would be impossible. When you have air going under the wing at a different rate than you have it going over the wing, that gives lift. Refrigeration, the internal combustion engine, lots of medical devices, for instance. If you know somebody with asthma and they have to wear a mask during their breathing treatments, that's actually a Venturi. It's forcing air in one way, squeezing it down and giving it momentum. So there's lots of practical applications. We often don't apply it in our own organizations, in our own personal lives, by saying we're going to do less in order to do more. And so what I would like to illustrate with this is that if you will do the good work of planning, then think in terms of what metric or what success you think can happen if you have propulsion. So let me give you the three basic movements that happen in the power of planning. First, you have to go from chaos. There's lots of ideas, lots of ideation, lots of possibilities. And that's good, but you have chaos, lots of ideas going lots of different directions. But in some way, those need to go from chaos to order. Now, that might mean you're identifying the common themes. It might mean there's discussion about picking 3 of those 23 things that you want to do. But in some way, you have to what? Narrow those options down. So you're going from chaos to order. And once you identify the order, those priorities, those goals, and assign actual strategies, actual tactics, actual mile markers and metrics, what will happen is you'll begin to get momentum. Now, there will be a sense of loss from some of the things that you had to jettison off in the chaotic state. And some people mourn too much what they're not able to do instead of celebrating what happens when we narrow and give ourselves that propulsion through planning. So there is power in planning, friends. You want some momentum? You want some good direction? You want to feel like you've got energy behind your plan? Do the Venturi tube. Power in planning. Thanks for watching.